hyper targeting on people like white-skinned people and say, white-skinned people need to give up their jobs. That would not heal racism either. Capitalism.
Wait, what?
Is what is.
What? Wait.
This episode of Redacted from Redacted has been brought to you by Freem's Loose Lotion.
Goddamn, Mike, you're throwing hot fire this morning. This is the kind of stuff you need to clip and put on YouTube. I mean, I was thinking about the same phrase. Would socialism straight up fix racism? I mean, we have a lot to make up for. No, it wouldn't. So here's the thing. Okay, racism, I believe that capitalism is part of racism. Now, if we get to a post-capitalist moment in time, a historical reality, where we have ended capitalism, will that mean that every person of the formerly destroyed racial categories will be in the exact same material condition of the people who were formerly white? Probably not, unless socialism makes that project of equality. And I would say that any socialist state that didn't wasn't actually socialist, because it would revert to these class distinctions. And to have a socialist state, you need to end those.
How do you end those, Mike? How is this different?
And maybe this is semantics or whatever, but the project of socialism would involve physically, materially changing the conditions of people of color and white people. You know, that's what it would mean. And socialism would be an uplift for both. Now, the relative uplift would be greater for the oppressed classes today than it was for the people that are in privilege. But even the white privilege is, they would be better off under socialism than they are under capitalism, because capitalism is poorer.
What the fuck?
Alive as you and me, says he. I never die.
Now, do you think that the Scottish coal miners in 1949 were more racist or less racist than the, quote, white working class in America in 2020? Their answer is neither, because that's a trick question.
Oh, God.
Because if you're looking at populations and saying they're racist, you have completely fucked up your whole analysis in the first place. You think racism is some sort of interpersonal thing, which there are racist. Racism is a word that's very broad. And yes, you could have racist interpersonal actions, but that's not what racism fundamentally is. Racism is systems. Racism isn't an individual slaveholder. It is slave holding. Do you get it? The fact that slave holding was legal, that was racism. The individual opinions of slave owners, like Thomas Jefferson, doesn't matter in the face of slave holding. You want to end racism? You end racial slavery. You want to end racism in America? You end capitalism. And this is a shocking fact that is tough to confront. It is really tough to confront that. It means that little incremental changes are not going to end racial prejudice. Oh, I know, it sucks. It means that the system is never going to truly be equal while capitalism exists. Fuck, that sucks to know. That means reparations, which are a great and good idea, are not enough to end racism in America.
Reparations are good and great, but not enough. Okay, so yes or no on them?
Because you could reparate all the harm. There's a phrase from Malcolm X that I want to explain to you.
Animal, stop.
I want to show you this. This quote.
You feel, however, that we're making progress in this country and worldwide?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. If you pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. They won't even admit the knife is there.
Hurry up.
If you gave reparations, that's taking out the knife. Maybe you even say it's healing the wound.
Oh my god.
But if the knife hand is rearing back for another stab with the prison.
Holy shit, he's really arguing against reparations. It got worse.
If the knife hand is rearing back for another stab with the prison industrial complex, if the knife wielding hand of America is wheeling back with a racist education system, if the knife is reeling back with a racist housing system, that's not ending racism. You gave reparations, that wouldn't end racism.
You mean like giving better material conditions? What does he think reparations are?
You hyper targeting on people, white-skinned people, and say, white-skinned people need to give up their jobs. That would not heal racism either.
No one is asking for that.
It's causing it. That's the hand wielding the knife. You're focused on the wound. You've got to stop the fucking murderer, the stabber. That's how you end racism. Capitalism is the one wielding the knife. And the people don't want you to focus on that. They want you to focus on the stitches, as if that ends the problem. That does not end the problem.
God, I don't want to watch like that much, but I'm too stoned to be here alone.
What type of fucking crazy ass correlation did he make?
Oh, you'll see.
The quote comes from Donnell Moyer, and it's racism resembles a gun. While mean racists use it to coerce and kill, kind racists help keep it loaded by supporting the underlying racial concepts. Right? So something that happens in practice is people, well, sure, there are obviously racist structures and racist systems, but you have to make a very conscious and a special effort when you're trying to dismantle things like white supremacy and white and anti-black violence. And the problem is people so often participate in keeping the gun loaded and keeping it ready for the people who can use the gun very efficiently to kill black folks. And I think what Mike isn't quite getting is language as he's framing his arguments is just loading the gun of racism and oppression. And I don't even think he's aware that he's actually doing it. I think in part that's because he probably doesn't think about these things at a deeper level because his life experience doesn't allow him to think about these things at a deeper level. So as he tests his ideas in the wild, they can fall flat on their face, which is fine, but that doesn't mean that black people are gonna fuck with you. So like, am I wary of someone like a Mike from PA or Mike from PA adjacent? Absolutely. But at the same time, like, I'm not, I don't know how to say this, but like, I'm not expecting him to really understand these things at any level that's remotely progress. Like, this is somebody who has a huge audience who doesn't do anything with his audience outside of doing it for its own self-interest. Like, if he really cared about these things, like, maybe create some type of canvassing event. These are people who have these huge platforms, so why not just use your platform for the good instead of like malding in your chat? I think Mike has the ability to organize and strategize and actually like put things out there, but I think he's kind of caught up choking on his own cock. And sometimes you gotta like take the cock out of your mouth and think like, hey, I know this is really delicious, but maybe I should like fucking do something with my time. Like, obviously live your best life, but it's very frustrating seeing somebody with this type of platform, and he's calling upon these things. He has calls of action to these things, but when it comes to actually like when the rubber hits the road, like, you have the ability to really do more in your community. And I understand COVID is taking a toll on folks, but like, come on, man.
To be continued.